Welcome back to Terraria. I'm Soko Pico, and today we'll be looking at how to find the shimmer, how to use the shimmer, and everything else. So, let's start with how to find the shimmer. Here, we are at the ocean right now. In order to find the shimmer, you have to be on the jungle side of your world, and the shimmer will spawn approximately over here, underneath the ocean, but on the inner side of the ocean. So approximately around in this box. I'll put up some images on the screen now of how that would look like on different sized worlds. These are supplied from the Terraria wiki. So, in order to find it, you should probably dig down maybe around 50 blocks away from the ocean, and start digging down. If you're progressed in the game enough to start digging down, then you do that straight away. Otherwise, you might just want to find some caves and explore around in this area until you find it. So I'll dig straight down, and I'll be back when I've found it. And wow, that was surprisingly fast, actually. We found it almost instantly. So let's have a look. Yep. So it is. This one is quite close to the surface, and also quite close to the ocean. Usually, it isn't that close to the ocean. Anyway. So here it is, and we're currently getting rid of all our shimmer accidentally by chucking water on it. It forms these Aetherium blocks, I think they're called, because this is actually called the Aether or the Ether. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but yes, this is what this biome is called. So, and in this world, in this biome, you will have a bit of shimmer. This pool here, I think 300 tiles. It is. I'm not sure. So you'll have this bit of shimmer, and shimmer has a very unique property in that if you chuck something into it, it will decraft it. It will decraft almost everything. So let's say we chuck this drill in. It will sink to the bottom, and it will turn into luminite bars and solar fragments. So that means you don't have to use the Goblin Tinker anymore. You can just chuck them in here and recraft them instead of having to go to him and reforge everything. How the shimmer looks. In the sense of the actual biome, the Aether, is it looks like this big open area with two or three gemcorn trees on each side, with these tunnels going across on both sides, like this. Sometimes it also has spikes generating on the top. Now, this shimmer is limited until you defeat the Moon Lord, at which point you can get a bottomless shimmer bucket, which I will get up here. So here's our bottomless shimmer bucket. Normally, with a normal bucket, you cannot obtain it. Let's try now. I'll show you. If I try to pick this up with a bucket, it won't do anything. Nothing will happen. So you can't move it until you defeat the Moon Lord, and you either chuck a bottomless water bucket into here to craft it, or craft a bottomless water bucket with 10 luminite bars in order to make a bottomless shimmer bucket. There is no other way to move shimmer around, except for one, which is that you can use pumps. So this is actually the same world as the previous video where I talked about duplicating liquids, and you can actually use the same concept of duplicating liquids on shimmer just by using a pump to move it into the duplication unit, and then you can start duplicating all you want. So I'll quickly construct a simple duplicator, and I'll be back when I'm done. Okay, so I'm back, and I've built our basic duplicator unit. So this is exactly the same as one of the duplicator units that I built earlier, over there. And there is no difference at all, except for the timer. So, let's start by pumping in a bit of shimmer. Here we go. That should be enough, maybe a bit more. And we can break this now. And this. And that. So, now, what you can do is, the only difference with this and the other duplicators is that it does not use any of the full second timers. It uses the half-second timer. So we've placed it down, and if we turn it on, it'll start duplicating. So this wasn't actually in the video by dreaming blindly. I made this up myself. I figured out how to use shimmer with the timer, with the duplicator units myself, and it seems to work quite well with half-second timers. So yeah, because it seems to flow faster than water, which is great. So that's how you can duplicate it before Moon Lord. However, there's also one thing you should do when you find it, and that is digging a hole right underneath the shimmer. because shimmer has one very annoying property. If you jump into it, you'll fall straight through, and you won't be able to move until you reach an open area again. So, it's very useful to dig as an area underneath the shimmer, as close to the bottom of it as possible. So, if by any chance this happens, you will fall right into this hole here, and you won't fall all the way until you probably hit lava. That is one thing you should do straight away. Before you even go experiment with the shimmer, you should do that straight away, because trust me, in my own world, I've fallen in the shimmer so many times, and I've almost fallen into lava on most of those occasions. And when I dug one of these, it helped me so much, because I just fallen into one of these, and I could just get myself out by climbing out. Shimmer also, not only does it uncraft things, it also has interesting properties. For example, with torches, it doesn't uncraft them, it turns them into Aetherium torches. How you pronounce them, I'm not sure, but yes. Aether torches. So, for example, you can't uncraft timers either. So, this is intended because the mechanic, she sells timers, and you can also craft timers. And the reason why they don't want you to uncraft them is because their uncrafted ingredients sell for more than the timers themselves. So you can make infinite money that way. So some of the crafts don't have uncrafts with shimmer, and some of them have interesting features. Like if I chuck in a bucket of water, which I will get right here. Here we go, a bucket of water. If I chuck in a bucket of water, it will first turn it into a lava bucket, before turning into a honey bucket. And chucking the honey bucket in will just repeat the process. It'll turn it back into water. You can also, if you get some moss, you can also chuck it in, and it will turn it into helium moss, which appears to glow. And yep, there we go, I fall through accidentally again. So if we place down some of this moss, yep, there we go, rainbow moss. Perfect for your disco parties. Shimmer has many possibilities. But the most important thing is that getting shimmer to your base isn't limited just until getting the Moon Lord. For example, in my own private world, I moved all the shimmer back to my base using pumps and wires. It took a very long time, and I spilt some of it on the way. However, I got it there in the end, and I set up some duplicator units back at base. So, let's go home. Let's go home, and let's set up a big duplicator unit using the shimmer. So, I'm going to use the bottomless shimmer bucket, because I'm not going to transport it all the way there right now. Let's put this in. Put that in. There, put in a bit there, and replace the timer, because we don't want to have the wrong timer there, otherwise it probably won't work. Then we have it get our quarter-second timer, and then, not quarter-second, sorry, half-second timer, turn it on, and there we go, duplicates. I accidentally left a bit of water in there, so some of it's turning into Aetherium, I think it is, yeah, Aetherium probably. There we go, and oh no, oops. Yeah, be careful of this, otherwise it could duplicate. It could not duplicate, but it could just combine with other liquids and turn into Aetherium blocks. So Aetherium blocks will be formed whenever there's any contact with any other liquid. So let's say I empty all of this out. I empty all of this out, and all of this. Now, there we go, we get a bit of shimmer in here. And, how come that's still water on there? Shouldn't be. There we go. So now, if we start mining this, then this should be, now it's Aetherium blocks. However, the shimmer duplicates the fastest. However, it's still not that fast, as you can see. We are still running out quite quickly. And another interesting thing about shimmer is that, let's say I put the guide into shimmer. Where even is our guide? Oh, we don't have, anyway. Well, let's say I put an NPC into shimmer. It will turn into a special form called its shimmered form. And it'll look completely different. Now, this does not change anything at all. All it does is just changes the look, how they look. That's it. And that's pretty much all there is to know about shimmer. You should, in case you want to find out the shimmer in more depth, you should definitely check out the wiki page. It has information about how to calculate the shimmer spawns, how to see where it'll spawn in your type of world, and a bunch of other stuff. But the main important thing to know is that it'll always be on the jungle side of the world, and it'll always be like near the ocean. So it could be either here, 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 anywhere in this area here. And it will most likely spawn around here under the ocean, and there's a chance it'll spawn a bit further away. So if you don't find any here, then it means that either you need to dig further until you find the lava. Then that means it can't spawn there, or and then you start digging left and see where it might be there. So yeah, that's all there is to know about shimmer. If you enjoyed the video, then like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.